What's up, everybody? Back with another City Skylines. Cities by John. Cities with John. I don't even know the name of my own videos. Does it really matter? Okay, so today, um, what I'm doing is, first off, I made this video like I made my other video, just recording the audio as I went. And then I realized that the video was going to end up a little too long, and so I had to do this speed up motion type version. So here at the beginning, I was kind of talking about this area of the map and basically being an industrial area, having some distribution centers. The distribution center here acting uh, as a cargo line for my map, which is a pretty cool asset. But today, what I will be building is a scrapyard. So this is kind of like a junkyard, scrapyard, pull apart, whatever you want to call it. uh, Amen Auto Parts, as it's called up here in Louisville. Um, but a lot of big cities obviously have scrap yards, pound yards, whatever, where your car gets towed. I'm a little under the weather, so my voice is kind of raspy tonight. Sorry about that. I'll try not to cough directly into the microphone, but there will definitely be a cough at some point. I'm not pausing this, okay? You're just going to deal with it. Um, but uh, this area I kind of connected, as you might have saw earlier. I was kind of going over. There's a little area to the left of where I'm at right here. That's kind of a uh, apartment complex area, kind of a ran down area, kind of not so nice apartments, but they have all the standard amenities. But this area just got connected. It's the first time I'd actually put a road over a train track since I made this map. I'd been avoiding that. I don't really know why. With my first map that I ever made, I had a lot of issues with having a lot of traffic backed up because cars were waiting at different train stops. But this area, um, you know, I think is a perfect spot because it's in between some railroad tracks. It's over in an area that's not the nicest area. It's not like super ran down, but it's kind of like hidden. And I downloaded or subscribed to in the workshop these scrapyard cars. I hadn't really done anything with them yet, so I was just kind of freestyling this. But I think the final result turned out really cool, which you'll see pretty shortly. So, um, using um, these scrap cars was really cool. Some of these scrap cars are actually really nice. I was surprised just how nice they were overall. Um, but this fence that I'm putting up right now, going around it, a corrugated fence, metal fence, just looks awesome. I love it. There were so many times I wanted to use it already on this map, just to do some industrial fencing in different places, which I probably still will do at some point. But it just works perfect with a junkyard. So, being that I'm not like an expert on junkyards, but I have been one time to uh, the car pound in Paducah, in Louisville. Um, Chris had left his keys one time. I can't remember. He left his keys like at he works for a lawyer, and he does like sign ups when people get injured. And for some reason, he had to go like take a picture of a car that was wrecked or something like that. I can't really remember. But he ended up leaving his keys uh, at the scrapyard, uh, whatever you want to call it, and he didn't realize it until we got all the way to the casino. He had rode with me, and we literally had to turn all the way around. Um, I can't remember why that happened. Anyway, this building that I'm putting in right here, just kind of like an office building, you know, like you'd go in there to talk to somebody about getting your car back, or maybe going and looking at some junked up cars to pull some parts that you might need for your car. That's a pretty common thing, right? You know, like you go to these places and you pull out. Now, real quick, sorry to interrupt my own story, but using this landscape painter, surface painter. I mean, I like it, but it is not your. It's not a fix-all when it comes to fixing curves and adding concrete. You've got to find like a happy medium, and it's frustrating. It drives me absolutely crazy sometimes, but I'm still learning. You know, I'm basically a noob, more or less at this game. Like I'm still learning how this all works. So, um, one thing I was kind of careful about on here was I didn't want to put so many cars in here that it was kind of like, you know, unrealistic. And then here, that's kind of when I discovered, oh, these are actually smashed cars. I didn't know if they were like cockroaches, like giant cockroaches or something. Um, but what I soon discover is you can make some really awesome stacked up cars. So I mean, really, the sky's the limit, uh, literally and figuratively, when doing a scrapyard. So, but I do recommend just looking at your surroundings of where you want to put this, because obviously it wouldn't make sense if you stuck this in the middle of a um, nice residential area, or maybe like in the middle of your retail area. It needs to be somewhere um, in particular. But all these assets you're seeing today on the workshop, and obviously pretty pretty simple to get put together. Now, um, needing a gate, you know, these places are, I don't want to say they're like highly guarded by any means, but they are, you know, there's a lot of valuable things. And sometimes these lots, like say your car gets towed for some reason. I mean, think of the nice cars that get pulled into those places. Um, and a lot of times they have a separate area for, um, you know, the cars that got towed versus the cars that are for scrap. But with this, I mainly just went with the scrap look. I just kind of wanted to have like a little grimy look to it. And one thing I discovered, and you know, hats off to these people that make these assets. I couldn't do it, but you know, when you lay the cars out, you get a lot of bright colors. Generally speaking, you know, cars are not going to be just like blue, red, yellow, blue, you know. So one thing that I went back and did later was change some of the colors to more neutral colors, just to give it a little bit more of a you know, neutral feel. And now here I'm taking some concrete and some busted road decals, and just kind of making it appear like this area once might have been a little bit more structured, a little bit more organized. Maybe at one point this was a used car lot or something like that, or maybe it's been a scrapyard forever and ever and ever, and it hasn't been taken care of. So you can see that, just I think that worked out like really just basically perfect. I love the way that the cars look um, on that dirt with the busted up concrete. I think that looks really good. So I was really pleased with the way they came out. So this is kind of where I discovered like how you could stack the cars. So didn't really do my homework on these assets, and didn't realize that you could actually, that some of the cars were just kind of like the top sides of the cars. And yeah, there's some funny audio on the original video of me kind of freaking out here and saying, "Ah, that's freaking awesome." So, um, but yeah, just use and move it to copy, doing quick copies of these car stacks. And so just kind of throwing that together. Um, and then I had that little path in the middle, which I did earlier in the video, was just to kind of give this area, just kind of break it up just a tad where it wasn't so straightforward looking, just with like one little road around it, because I didn't want to make it too big, and also I kind of want to use some of the areas um, around this area to do some more stuff, some more industry and things like that. So now here, what I was trying to do, it was kind of trying to add a little bit to make sure that it didn't just look a little bit too stale, and a little bit more unstructured. Hence the reason I have this snake of cars that I just put in. Um, but yeah, I really just love these car props. They look fantastic. Um, Now you can see that these dirt streets have names as if they are actual streets. And I think I ended up pausing it. Yeah, the game's paused here, so traffic's not going in and out of here. But I do use Traffic Manager to stop trucks from coming in because it just kind of looks silly. Here, adding a little bit more concrete decals, just trying to give that a more realistic look, and then having a more sturdy looking concrete decal underneath this crane here that helps move the cars around the lot when they don't function anymore. So when you a lot of times, one thing I used to kind of struggle with the idea of, terrain is not always gonna be flat, and this map that I have that I've been using, the Two Brothers Island, I think it's called, um, is generally pretty flat. So one way that you can get more of a hilly look is doing what I just did there, adding some bush clusters, some concrete piles, and some things of that nature. And that gives it a little bit more of a finished look, kind of ties everything together. Now, here I'm kind of making a little bit of a kind of like a, I want to say a break room area, but just kind of thrown together using some module buildings and props, um, making just like a little bit of a porch, and maybe something that this organization or whatever, this car lot might, maybe they were going to build a whole different building, ended up not doing it, but kept this little structure, this little frame, if you will. It's just kind of like a little place for them to take their lunch or hang out. A little office there right by where the cars get crushed. And then here, like I said earlier, turning off the trucks so they're not going to come in there. Now, for some reason, I don't know if it happens on here, but the trucks still end up coming in here. So there, I was just adding a little bit to just give it more of a just not having such a straight setup. I wanted it to look kind of organic and random and chaotic, and not just so structured looking. But throwing down some more concrete decals. You might be wondering, like, what are those silo looking things supposed to be? But really the only reason I did that is because up in Louisville, actually where they're building Louisville City FC's new stadium, Lynn Family Stadium, um, used to be just a gigantic junkyard, and they had a ton of these giant, like, almost like they look like oil, like the oil refinery type places or something. I don't know. It was just like a gigantic metal heap. So you had cars, you had junk, you had all sorts of stuff. And here I redid the gate as well because I wasn't really happy with that gate, and then I kind of realized, a little embarrassing here to admit, but it wasn't really a gate for cars. It was more for people. Sorry, I told you I'd cough. Ugh, work was so bad today. It was like coughing the whole time. Yeah, I bet you love hearing that. I'm authentic though. I don't do a lot of post editing, if you can't tell. So there you have it. I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. Now, I did decide to make kind of a wall of cars here. I kind of like the way this turned out. Kind of stack up all the extra over here, right? Add a little road in behind. Now just adding some finishing touches, putting some weeds and stuff in the corner, trash, different things just to kind of make it look a little overgrown. Excuse me, overgrown, and adding some bushes, and then kind of selective here on my tree selection coming up. Just add a few to the back, one right there in the middle. And there you have it. Nice little junkyard. Hope y'all liked this video. If you did, give it a like, please. You know, I'm doing this for fun, but you can still like it anyway. I'm a nice guy. You should like my videos. I like the way this turned out. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.